Hello, Aaron. This is some brief preliminary feedback for the contextual research essay, which, to be honest with you, will be the first time I've actually given you some feedback in this form. Generally, because you started the course late. But I look forward to giving you a lot more moving forward. Okay, so let's just have a look and see what we've got. You were asked to produce a formal research essay into other works of surrealism to include literature, television, music, film, and art. All included sources will be displayed using the Harvard referencing system. So the Harvard referencing system should be in-text citations like this, the author and the year. So this is an example book, and your bibliography should look like this. Okay, so when I look at yours, you've got quotes and things like that. You've got one Harvard reference in the form in which we should have it, but it's completely inconsistent. And yeah, you haven't really properly referenced things. You've got some videos here. Are you actually mentioning these things? Yeah, One Punch Man's there, and I can link that to Saitama versus Lord Boris, etc., and things like that. But you haven't really made the effort to properly communicate these links to your tutor, the assessor, and to be honest with you, it's not the best work that I've seen, only because of the structure of it and the fact that you could perhaps go into a lot more detail about certain things. Okay, so I mean, like, there's lots and lots of things to take into account. Any of these should have a proper reference to them, and they should have like annotations that link them to your actual work, etc. Okay. Now, you did, under the guidance of me, add some annotations to these parts. So well done for that. But either way, your references should be in text, or if it's a direct quote, you refer to the book directly in the paragraph in which you're quoting. And then, if not, it should have an in-text citation, and all of your bibliography should be at the bottom. It should be that we can clearly reference what you were doing throughout the assignments, and where you're getting your information from and what reading you're doing as we read the essay. Okay, I can only assume that quite a lot of students, you are thinking of perhaps going to university when you're older. Think about it this way: if you were to create a written essay for one of your assignments in university, like the most of university assignments require you to do, most of your grading is done through essays, unfortunately. You would essentially have to use the Harvard referencing system. If you don't use the Harvard referencing system, or you do it poorly, then you get marked down for it. So if you imagine that you've done like an amazing essay, where you've covered loads and loads of points, and you know, you're very insightful and everything, and groundbreaking almost in the way in which you've gone about coming up with new conclusions to things. That's all very well and good, but if you haven't used a Harvard referencing system, you'll be marked down a few grades. So it could go from an A plus to a C, etc. Okay, so just bear that in mind. You would want to improve upon this, and particularly for the final project, which you will have to complete, hopefully to a high standard. You're aiming for at least a merit or a distinction, and to do that, you would need to have proper, well-referenced research within your work. Okay, and be able to clearly talk about where you've got this research from, and also how that research is going to be used to inform your ideas. So my plan, to be honest, with my past and media studies, I found that horror movie techniques such as shadows, darkness, and Dutch angles, in order to make the viewer uncomfortable, I'll face all characters and use effects to camouflage. Yeah, fair enough. It gives me a kind of a plan, but do you actually refer to things that use these things? Yeah, that's the research. That's the type of research that would be useful to inform your ideas. And at this point in time, I don't necessarily feel like that this is showing how you use research to inform your ideas. Also, the sentence structure is poor. The sentence doesn't end until like 3 lines in. No capital here, no capital here. To be honest, with my past in media studies, I found that horror movie techniques such as shadows, darkness, and Dutch angles, in order to make the viewer uncomfortable, deface all characters and use effects to camouflage, to hide characters and Easter eggs. The sentence structure doesn't necessarily make sense. You would want to say something like, to be honest, with my past in media studies, I found that horror movie techniques such as shadows, darkness, and Dutch angles make the viewer feel uncomfortable. And then it should be a new sentence. I apostrophe double L, deface all characters and use effects to camouflage, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so just bear in mind that there are things to look at. One of the things that will be marked on for the final project is presentation techniques. So you need to be able to read back your work. One of the things that you can do when you're in lesson is actually pay attention to the work fully and avoid watching anime or listening to music and things like that when you're meant to be doing work. And your work will be a lot better. Okay.